Right now on Sunrise, a man armed with weapons shows up at a Southern Indiana Police Department, the charges he's facing, and also why the man's girlfriend was arrested. And we're hearing from Louisville's mayor about the firing of his deputy chief of staff. What are Wave troubleshooters uncovered in their investigation? And it's a big day. The Kentucky State Fair starts today. We're live with how they're celebrating their 120th year.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Boy, isn't that pretty incredible when you think about that? 120 years of the Kentucky State Fair. Wow, that is a huge milestone.
Yeah, what I want to know is what the food was like for that first year. Something tells me that everything was boiled. Probably, yeah. We'll have to do some Google searching on that and find out. Should maybe bring it back for a taste test and then eat the fried Oreos after to, cleanse our palates. But if you were going there today, hey, the weather is going to be cooperating for the daytime hours. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. But hey, that's state fair weather, so nobody really surprised there. Temperatures right now sitting in the 60s across most of our region. At the airport in Louisville, we're sitting at 71 degrees. It is 65, though, for those of you in New Albany, 68 in Buckner. And good morning to those of you in Shively, St. Matthews, and PRP. You are all sitting at 65 right now. We're watching these upper-level clouds streaming overhead, so this should make for a pretty cool sunrise this morning. As we head into the afternoon, we'll add in more of these mid to upper level clouds with temperatures jumping into the upper 80s for most of us. As we head through the evening hours, this is when we see a much better chance to deal with some of these showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be on the stronger side, especially for those of you in Indiana and in our Kentucky counties right along the Ohio River. That's where we have that marginal risk of severe weather in place. We're mainly talking about heavy rain and some gusty winds as threats as we head into this evening, and a little bit more so once we get into tomorrow. Everyone underneath a marginal risk of severe weather for your Friday, with our southernmost counties underneath that marginal risk for Saturdays. We keep some showers and thunderstorms in the forecast all the way into the beginning of the weekend, but keep in mind, none of these days are going to be a washout. In fact, we'll have some decently dry weather, plenty of sunshine, and those highs in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees for the next 3 days before we see a big cool down coming our way. Olivia?
Already celebrating that cool down. And hey, the weather is dry this morning, so that's good news for your morning commute and all those kids waiting for the bus stop this morning. It's really quiet on our roads right now. Not many people out there for this morning commute, but we know that'll pick up in the next hour or so. But our traffic map is showing that there's nothing really happening out there. No stalled vehicles. Just check the cameras. Looks like things have been cleared out this morning and no crashes right now. So that's some good news. Shannon?
Thanks, Olivia. 120 years of fun, funnel cakes, fried Oreos, games. It's all back. The Kentucky State Fair starts today. And Marissa Burke is live at the Expo Center this morning. And you were so excited to head out there today.
I am excited, and the one thing that we forgot in that list, Shannon, is the rides. I'm here with Eric German. Eric, you guys have some awesome rides over here.
Marissa, we're so happy to be back at the Kentucky State Fair. This is our 4th year at the Kentucky State Fair, and we keep bringing new rides, bringing new food, bringing new games. So we have 50 rides, new ride being Samurai.
Ooh, what's that?
Oh my God, that is such a great boat ride that goes up and down. It mimics a roller coaster. But anyway, you'll find out if you come out. And lots of great food cafes, Sabrina's Street Tacos, the Pink Cow for milkshakes, lots of new things, and then tons of games. So we're super excited to be here.
And there's another thing to be excited about, the VIP experience.
The VIP experience, yeah. So if you want to upgrade your ticket, your wristband ticket to VIP, that gets you a lounge where you can hang out, tented, so it's with cool misters in there, so be nice and cool. Private bathrooms, and then if you want to order food, they'll bring the food right to you. And when you go out to ride the rides, it's Fast Pass, so you don't wait in line.
You hear that? But guess what? It's so early in the morning, I don't have to wait in a line. So I'm going to go ahead and get up on this ride because why not? Oh, I'm so excited. So, all right, here we go. Because what you have to. It's the Kentucky State Fair. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't been on a ride in so long, guys. All right.
You haven't?
I know. Okay, does this go fast?
They can go fast or slow. What would you like?
Oh, I don't know, but we're going to find out. Let's do it. We're about to go. So, I'm going to go set.
This goes 80 feet in the air.
We're going to keep hanging out. So, stay with us on Wave Week. Not Weekend Sunrise. Marissa Burke, Wave News. Ooh, we're high up.
Yeah, it does go higher than people think.
80 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Wow. Love it. Have fun, Marissa. It's 6:04 now. A Jeffersonville man charged with threatening law enforcement after he showed up to the police department with multiple guns is set to be in court this morning, just as police released video of his arrest. Police say Derek Avery called 911 from the Jeff Apartments about 12:30 Monday afternoon. They say Avery requested officers come to the apartment so he could file a complaint, and he told the dispatcher he would be armed. The department says a surveillance team was sent to the apartment. Avery told the dispatcher if police didn't come, he would go to the police department. Officers say he drove to police headquarters and he was armed with an AR-15 and 2 pistols. Tactical officers met and arrested him, and his girlfriend, Megan Adams, was also arrested while trying to leave the apartment armed with guns and ammo. We spoke to some residents at the apartment complex. They didn't want to go on camera.
It's just unfortunate that things like this happen. We moved to this area to kind of be safe, and that was one of the main things as to why I moved here, was the safety and the security.
Avery is charged with 5 counts of intimidation. Adams is charged with 8 counts, all related to drug possession because drugs were found in the apartment. A mother worries congested car lines outside of a JCPS school could lead to her forcing to close her daycare. Some students at Schaffner Traditional Elementary School lost their bus transportation. Melissa Brewer says that includes her kids, and she runs an at-home daycare service. She says the car pickup lines in Crumbs Lane have made it nearly impossible for her to continue to run the daycare and pick up her own children at school.
I'm probably going to end up losing my job.
Wow.
I'm definitely fearful of it. And if I do, the situation is even worse because I don't have the option to take my kids to and from school at that point because I'm outside of the home.
Shively police say they are hoping to make traffic smoother outside the school. They're asking for community feedback as what they can do.
When there's dishonesty and more, at some point, second, third, fourth, and fifth chances run out.
New details this morning as Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg spells out why his deputy chief of staff was fired. Keisha Dorsey was fired for what the city says is a pattern of misconduct and job performance issues that followed a long history of repeated, unexcused absences. Wave News troubleshooters reviewed 1 year of Dorsey's security badge swipes and timesheets. It showed Dorsey often did not arrive at City Hall until noon or later. She was promoted last September. Dorsey had no security badge swipes in half of October. She took a 3-week vacation to Africa in November, yet she marked her time card as working nearly every day of the trip, even though her internal calendar said she had no access to phone or email. The mayor says he gave Dorsey several chances.
I don't take personnel decisions lightly, yet there's a time when changes need to be made.
Wave News has not been able to schedule an on-camera interview with Dorsey. She told us Tuesday she was in the hospital for stress and declined to speak on camera because of her health. Dorsey says her job did not require her to be at City Hall 8 hours a day, and she frequently needed to work in public. She also said she worked during her vacation and provided 2 screenshots of calendar entries on her virtual office program. Dorsey has filed ethics complaints against the city. Weeks after a cyber attack shut down Jefferson County clerk's offices for days, more is being revealed about the data breach. The clerk's office told us their initial investigation found no data was stolen, but Russian hackers posted Monday on the dark web the breach was successful. JCCO officials are working to prove the hackers' post is not true. Forensic analysis found the hackers were able to access the clerk's office's network through compromised credentials credentials in a virtual private network or VPN that allows employers to work from home. The clerk's office says hackers gained access to internal documents relating to employees, not the general public's information.
None of our election operating materials were on there. None of the motor vehicle information was on there. None of our legal records information was on there because all of that's in the cloud.
Jefferson County clerk officials told lawmakers they're working to identify and notify employees whose information might have been compromised. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is telling New Albany to stop any work at a Silver Creek Dam. The Corps of Engineers issued a cease and desist order to New Albany Mayor Jeff Gahan that orders the city to stop any work being done at the Providence Mills Dam, where a teen died, and to remove any material that's been placed in the waterway. Mayor Gahan ordered emergency work at the dam to stop dangerous undercurrents in the water. The order says the work is a violation of federal law because the mayor never applied for a permit. The Corps is giving the city of New Albany 30 days to come up with a plan to halt all work at the dam and to restore it to normal. We reached out to the mayor's office. We'll let you know when we hear back. Let's check in with Tawana, taking us through the next 12 hours.
And as we head over the next 12 hours, we're going to see a decent amount of sunshine getting through those clouds. And for those of you heading to the Kentucky State Fair for the first day, we'll see those temperatures getting into the mid to upper 80s. But here's the thing. Later on this evening, this is when we see a better chance to some of these showers and thunderstorms coming our way. I'll break down those chances and any threats that come along with them after the break.
Well, it's going to be an exciting and very busy day on U of L's campus as students start moving in today. Josh Ninke live this morning with some tips and what they're doing differently this year coming up.
Now, Wave News.
6:14 right now. Oh, it's going to be a very busy day on U of L's campus because some new students are moving in today, and Josh Ninke is there live with more. And better get those muscles ready, Josh. You may be helping out some students today.
Right. No students out here yet, but I've already seen plenty of staff getting into the dorms here to make sure that they are ready for the day, because we are expecting thousands of students to start streaming in here in just a few hours. Now, last year, the university set a record for the largest first-year incoming class. More than 3,000 first-year students enrolled in fall 2023. That was an increase of nearly 7% from the previous year, which had also set its own record. The school is doing a lot to try and make sure things go as smoothly as possible today. So here's a look at what the next few days will look like. Freshmen start moving in today. Upperclassmen will start moving in tomorrow and continue throughout the weekend. Now, there are some new resources for families, including very specific driving and parking instructions for each and every residence hall. Head to the Louisville Housing website that's on your screen right now for more information. Of course, we'll have a crew here on campus throughout the morning to see how things go, and we'll be talking with some of the university officials to see what exactly enrollment looks like for this year and if they've set yet another record. Live here at U of L, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Thanks, Josh. Exciting time for lots of students. Let's go to Tawana right now. So we need some dry weather to help them out.
We do. And one of the worst things that could possibly happen if you're trying to carry all of your stuff through a downpour. Thankfully, for most of the day, things are looking quiet. That's going to help out the freshmen. But for the upperclassmen moving in tomorrow, going to be talking about some storms pushing through for portions of your Friday. So we'll have to watch a lot, especially as this warm front moves towards us. Now, there are some showers and thunderstorms starting to trail a little bit further to the south, and those could be a few rain chances that we may have to deal with for parts of wave country getting into later on this afternoon. As of right now, though, we're just watching the clouds streaming in, and that is it. Our SkyTrack camera in Paristown showing not much going on, but we still have quite a bit of time before that sunlight gets over the horizon. Your temperatures right now sitting mainly in the 60s. A couple of exceptions to that. 71 degrees at the airport in Louisville, which is typically our warm spot, but 59 degrees in Columbia. And part of the reason that some of you, especially further to the east and south, are a little bit cooler, you have that lower humidity still hanging out for now. With that warm front moving through later on today, the humidity is going to gradually increase as the day goes along. So I mentioned some of those showers. They're just trailing on the southern edge of that warm front. Those could creep through parts of southern Indiana as we get into the early to mid-afternoon hours. But that's for some, not for all of us. Most of us will just see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the rest of the day with highs in the mid to upper 80s. We could touch that 90-degree mark, by the way, in the metro. It's later on this evening, especially after about 6, 7 o'clock, that we see a better chance for some of these showers and thunderstorms moving into and through wave country. Going to keep an eye on more of these storms as the night goes along and we get towards midnight. We do have that marginal risk of severe weather in place across parts, but not all, of wave country. Mainly talking about areas basically to the north of the parkways. This is where we have that marginal risk in place, and we're monitoring that potential for very heavy rain and some strong wind gusts as these storms move through for later on tonight. Once we get into tomorrow, still going to be dealing with more of those showers and thunderstorms pushing into and through the area. So we'll watch for those for the early morning hours. These can impact tomorrow morning's commute with heavy rain and some gusty winds as well. So a lot to watch in that regard. By lunch, we start to dry out. And once we head further into the afternoon, we can see some more of that sunshine. But here's the thing. The sunshine that will help to take us into the mid to upper 80s for highs again could also help to trigger some additional isolated showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon and evening. As we get further into your Friday night and early Saturday morning, some additional showers and thunderstorms certainly possible. Then a marginal risk of severe weather is in place for our entire region on Friday, but the threats remain the same: gusty winds and some locally heavy rain. For your Saturday, we'll be watching some more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms staying in the forecast for parts, but not all of the day. So that's certainly some good news. Going to be keeping an eye on those trends there. For your Sunday, keeping clouds overhead as that front exits the area, taking the humidity with it. So that means as we start off next week, we'll not only get to enjoy some of the cooler weather, but also some of that lower humidity, feeling a little bit fall-like for the first half of next week before the humidity and those warmer temperatures return by next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Thanks, Tawana. New on Sunrise, a United Nations agency says the Taliban has barred 1.4 million girls from education since taking control of Afghanistan. Olivia tells us about this education ban now in this Wave News Alert.
The Taliban took control of Afghanistan exactly 3 years ago, and this morning we're getting new numbers showing how many women and girls are affected. The Taliban barred education for girls above 6th grade because they said it didn't comply with their interpretation of Sharia, or Islamic law. In April of last year, UNESCO said 300,000 girls were denied access to education, and now that girls are getting older, that number is going up even more to 1.4 million. The rule also bans women from teaching boys in schools. The UN agency warned that authorities have almost wiped out 2 decades of steady progress for education in Afghanistan. We'll be right back with more Wave News Sunrise.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
Good morning. 6:23 right now. Okay, we have a very busy weekend with the fair, so if someone wants to head out there, what's the best day?
I say if you don't like the summer heat and humidity, Sunday will be your day. If you're okay dodging some of these raindrops and some thunderstorms on Saturday, but personally, I pick Sunday. For those of you heading out for today, we'll see those highs approaching the 90-degree mark. Most of the day will actually be quiet with some sunshine, but those rain chances that you see are for later on tonight into tomorrow. The first half of your Friday featuring quite a bit of rain in the forecast. By the afternoon and evening, though, things look to be drier. Some additional scattered showers and thunderstorms possible on your Saturday before we see the cooler air, the lower humidity, but still some clouds overhead, it looks like, as of right now on Sunday. Then we get further into next week, starting off next week with all the sunshine, the low temperatures, the lower humidity, before, of course, we get right back into the mid to upper 80s by next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Thanks, Tawana. Mayor Greenberg revealed more about his plan to provide universal pre-K to children across Louisville. The plan is called Thrive by 5. In the first phase, his team took a look at how much child care workers across the city make right now. The study found half of early learning teachers and almost 33% of both early learning staff and early learning child care providers have a total family income of less than $30,000 a year. We spoke to the owner of a child care facility about what this could mean for them.
It does come back with me as a director trying to be able to sustain our small school with the multiple high-end salary paying positions that I do believe they deserve, because this is around children. So I think if we had some kind of package deal to help us out.
The mayor says his plan is getting some new funding from the recent city budget and federal support from the General Assembly. The Indiana Department of Education is making significant changes to a proposed overhaul of the state's high school diploma system. The board members wanted to change diploma requirements and exclude certain course requirements like history, foreign language, and fine arts. Our partners at the News and Tribune report the Department of Education is now changing their original plan after getting criticism from some universities. The new plan includes now base requirements for every student, plus the opportunity for students to get readiness seals. These seals are tacked onto diplomas to show a student's specialization. If this is approved, the new plan will take effect in 2029. It's 6:26. Amendment 2 could impact school funding in Kentucky if it's passed in November. More on what the economic impact could be if it passes.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning to you. We have the fair starting today. A lot of kids went back to school yesterday, so hope you had a great first day of school. And the weather's looking pretty good for today.
Yeah, most of the day is going to be quiet, but anyone looking in the Wave Weather app, they're like, oh, I see rain chances for today. That's for tonight into tomorrow, so that's what we're going to be looking at closely. So let's talk about what we're seeing right now across the area. Things are quiet. Temperatures mainly sitting in the 60s. The humidity is not even that high right now, so that's something we can enjoy for this morning. But we're keeping an eye on a couple of isolated showers trying to pop off towards our west in Illinois. We'll keep an eye on if those can hold together, but we have a better chance to see one or two of these isolated downpours later on this afternoon. This is what I really want to show you. This is the SkyTrack camera in Starlight, Indiana. You have those clouds rolling in, a beautiful start to the day. I told you the clouds just going to make the sunrise really interesting this morning. So absolutely gorgeous to start off the day. So for the bus stop forecast, that right in, we'll see those clouds moving in, those temperatures in the 60s. By lunch, you should be near 80 degrees, still with that mix of sun and clouds. And for the ride home, into the mid to upper 80s, still with that mix of sun and clouds. Now, we could see an isolated downpour here and there for those of you in Indiana, by the way, for that ride home. So we'll keep an eye on that. But overall, most of us dry until we get into later on tonight, especially towards sunset. This is when we can see some of those stronger storms moving in with gusty winds and heavy rain. And we'll keep that rain chance for a good chunk of your Friday morning, potentially for some of us in the Friday afternoon. Olivia?
Well, as for your Thursday morning commute, though, everything's looking nice out there. Very green traffic map, a little bit of yellow showing up on Dixie Highway near Valley Station, but no major delays at all right now, so that's some good news. Metro traffic cameras are showing some cars out there. Traffic starting to pick up a little bit. It was very empty this morning, but we know things are definitely going to pick up within the next 30 minutes with all those buses out there and all those cars going to work and dropping off the kids at school. Shannon?
Thank you, Olivia. Today is the first day of the Kentucky State Fair. The Junior Dairy Show starts at 8 o'clock this morning. Marissa Burke has been there live this morning, walking all around. Oh, and you are in one of my favorite exhibits right now. I love the miniatures.
I was just about to say, big things come in small packages over here in the miniature exhibit section. I'm here with Kay Browning, who is the KSB curator and owner.
Exactly.
So, Kay, I know there's so many Harry Potter fans right now that are looking at this going, what in the world? How long did it take you to do this?
Well, putting it together it takes about 5 hours to put it together, but everything that goes into it has been collected. And so I just do it piece by piece by piece. I purchase whatever these wonderful artisans make, and I put it together like a painting.
How many hours of work would you say is collected in your actual exhibit?
In the museum?
Yes, ma'am.
We have probably 1,500 artisans from all over the world, and there are millions of hours of work because everything in the museum is handcrafted. It's all made by hand, but original materials, original techniques. It's a history lesson. It shows you how people do and make.
So much.
Yes, so much.
Because you have a couple of different other pieces over here. Like, ooh, what's this one?
This is the Voodoo Shack, and I love it because it has the illusion of water.
Yes.
Which is a very interesting. It's an epoxy that you mix together, and you have to paddle the bubbles out, and all kinds of
so many
fun
interesting
things.
techniques, and the detail, the small attention to details, the smallest little things.
Absolutely. Well, the incredible thing about this is that it shows action, and I think all of my miniatures in the museum tell a story. Everything that I put together, there's a theme behind it, and I can tell you the story that goes along with it.
So guys, if you want to take a closer look at all of Kay's creations and also check out some of the entries from people all across Kentucky, you got to check out this room at the Kentucky State Fair. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
It's fascinating. Marissa, thank you. Well, a new report is detailing the impact that could be made if voters give Kentucky lawmakers the power to create a school voucher system. Amendment 2 would give state lawmakers the power to allow state tax dollars to go to private or charter schools. Supporters say it'll give families more education options, but critics say tax dollars should only go to public schools. The Kentucky Center for Economic Development report estimates if modeled after Florida's program, it could cost Kentucky more than $1 billion annually. That equals a cost of about 10,000 public school teachers and employees.
What you see in other states often is that when voucher programs pass, private schools increase their tuition accordingly. So it doesn't mean that it makes a private school within reach for certain families. And most of on average, about 70% of the families that benefit from private school vouchers in other states are already in private school or planning to enroll in private school.
Public schools are the costliest line item in the state budget, typically making up about 44% of the general fund. The majority of the Floyd County Council wants more information before approving salary increases for sheriff's deputies in the county. The council voted 4-3 to block a new collective bargaining agreement. The proposal would have given some officers $12,000 more over a 3-year contract. Our partners at the News and Tribune report the members who voted against the raises say they want more information on the financial impact of the salary increases and what counter offers were made during negotiations. The collective bargaining agreement will return to the council at a later date for consideration. Starting this weekend, some Kentucky real estate practices will change. The National Association of Realtors reached an agreement in March. It will end legal action taken up by home sellers about brokers. Starting this Saturday, all realtors must enter into a buyer-broker agreement with any potential buyers. So what this will do is help lay out how realtors will be paid and how much. This is now something that must be done before any private home tours, whether in person or even virtual. It also must be done before any discussions about buying a home.
As a buyer, you're going to get to interview your agents and find a fit for you. Not everybody fits. So you get to do that. Just that process is what's going to be different for the consumer right off the bat.
Individual brokerages can have their own agreements, or they can use the one made by the Kentucky Realtors. Now, you can still go to an open house without an agreement to view homes for sale, but you do have to enter into a buyer-broker agreement to start any purchase discussions or to see the home privately. So a lot of changes there. 6:36 right now. How's it looking over the next 12?
Well, we're seeing beautiful sunrises across the region right now. We're going to add in more of those clouds for everyone as we head towards the afternoon. Highs today in the mid to upper 80s. Now, as we look ahead, some rain pushing in later on this evening. I'll break down what we're going to be seeing as we head into tonight and then tomorrow after the break.
Breaking this morning, the president of Columbia University has stepped down from her position. Olivia tells us why in this week's News Alert.
Columbia's been tied up in controversies centered around the Israel-Hamas war and its handling of protests on the New York campus. Manoush Shafiq announced her resignation on Wednesday evening in a memo sent to the Columbia community. It comes a week after 3 deans at the school resigned over text messages involving anti-Semitic tropes. For months, Shafiq has been under scrutiny for her handling of anti-Semitism on campus. It reached its peak in April when New York police arrested around 300 pro-Palestinian protesters after some of them barricaded themselves inside a university building. Until now, Shafiq has held her ground and refused calls to resign. The university hasn't named an interim president in the meantime. Shannon.
Olivia, thank you. Well, today is going to be a busy day at U of L because incoming freshmen get to move in. Josh Nickey is there live this morning with more on what to expect. And they've been setting new records over the last couple of years.
They really have. It's been impressive to see the number of students enrolled here at U of L. In fact, over the last 2 years, they have set records for first-year enrollment. Now, we don't have the numbers for this year yet, but you can still expect thousands of students to be on campus starting today. Now, last year, the school had more than 3,000 of those first-year students, and more than half of them moved onto campus. So if you're moving in over the next few days, the university has some new ways to try and help you out. There's a whole appointment system for move-in. There'll also be the usual vinyl bins to make it way easier to get your stuff inside. So here's a look for everybody what the next few days will look like here. Freshmen start moving in today. Upperclassmen will start moving in tomorrow, and that will continue through the weekend. There are some new resources for families, including specific driving and parking instructions for each resident hall as well, to try to make things as simple as possible. Head to the Louisville Housing website that's on your screen for more information. Now, we'll be meeting with some university staff a little bit later this morning to get some updates on what exactly those numbers are to see if they've broken a record 3 years in a row. Live here at U of L, Josh Nickey, Wave News.
Thanks, Josh. Good luck to all those students. Well, pumpkin spice season seems to be here earlier than usual. Starbucks has already rolled out their fall drink next week, but new research saying that pumpkin spice latte might not be the favorite anymore. Huh? What? Well, a new survey looked at 2,000 U.S. adults. It was done by the market research company called Talker Research. They found 58% of people think there are better fall drinks than pumpkin spice. 45% say they're tired of pumpkin spice. In fact, pumpkin spice came in 4th on the list of top favorites. Cinnamon, top, most preferred flavor. Tawana's saying yes. Really? Cinnamon, yeah.
Cinnamon, and then yes, it's salted caramel,
salted caramel.
Which is next. Love that.
Candy apple, no, but that was 3rd. And then pumpkin spice came in 4th. But pumpkin spice did beat out maple, s'mores, pecan, sweet potato, and cranberry.
S'mores, though? I would have put s'mores in the place of the candy apple. Push pumpkin spice down a little bit more.
I feel like you've done a lot of thinking about this.
Yeah, I'm that one person that I'm like, don't offer me anything pumpkin spice. But
no, I'm not a, no.
But anything caramel, anything with s'mores, I'm in there. And I told you that peppermint.
And I said, that is not fall. That's winter.
It's all year for me.
Okay.
I'm that person that's all year.
Well, it doesn't feel anything like fall right now.
No, but we will get that fall feel once we head into the end of the weekend. I'll let you know when some people are going to be seeing some 70s for highs in just 30 seconds. Meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with your Thursday forecast. We're still discussing what our favorite drinks or favorite fall drinks were. And maybe you want to do something iced today because we are going to be seeing those highs trying to approach 90 degrees as we head into this afternoon. Here comes the warm front drifting towards us. That's going to help to bring some more rain chances our way, but it will also help to bring that strong southerly wind that will drive our temperatures up and also drive the humidity up across the area. As of right now, we're just watching some of these mid to upper level clouds streaming into and through our area. A beautiful sunrise showing up on our SkyTrack camera in Bardstown. Gorgeous way to start the day. So you can, yes, rock the sunglasses for most of the day. Temperatures not too shabby, mainly seeing those low to mid 60s outside the metro. In the metro, holding on to 71 degrees at the airport in Louisville. For most of us, we're still having that pleasant feel, that lower humidity around for the morning, indicated in the blue, but you see a lot of that green indicating that moisture is starting to increase across our area, and we'll see that really ramping up for the afternoon and evening as the warm front moves through. So at least for this morning, going to keep an eye on some of these clouds drifting overhead. We could see 1 or 2 isolated downpours for those of you, especially along the north of 64 for the early afternoon hours. So we're talking really between noon and 3 p.m. That's when we have a better chance for that, just because of the warm front moving through. Then as we head into later on this evening, especially after about 6, 7 o'clock, this is when we got in on a better chance for some of these showers and thunderstorms diving into and through our area. Some of these could be on the stronger side. So we're watching our southern Indiana counties and then our Kentucky counties basically along the Ohio for a better chance to see some of those gusty winds and some heavy rain with the thunderstorms. That is why that marginal risk of severe weather is in place. Let's talk about tomorrow, because those storms will start moving through tonight. Stick with us for a good chunk of your Friday morning. We are going to be talking about additional rounds of showers and thunderstorms for the early morning hours through the morning commute. So that could make things a little bit more difficult getting the kids out and about, especially for those car rider lines. I know they're long, they're busy. The rain could certainly impact that as well. Once we get into the late morning and then the early afternoon, we dry out, and we'll be watching for some sunshine trying to pop through the clouds for the afternoon hours on your Friday. Temperatures trying to get into the mid to upper 80s for highs tomorrow. With the extra sunshine and that cold front approaching, we could see a couple of isolated downpours trying to pop for your Friday afternoon and into the evening as well, with more storms rolling in come Saturday morning. Everyone outlook with a marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow, but the threats remain the same. Some strong winds and some heavy rain. Getting into your Friday, we do still see some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms rolling through the forecast, but certainly the day is not looking like a washout. As of right now, going to keep that Lou City game for Phil the Fam quiet with just some clouds overhead and temperatures falling from the 80s into the 70s. But of course, I'll be watching that rain chance very closely, and of course, I'll be cheering them on with you. Getting into the end of the weekend, this is when those changes arrive. Lower humidity coming in behind that weekend system for the beginning of next week. So we'll see that drop in humidity, drop in temperatures as we start off next week, mainly talking upper 70s and low 80s for highs through Wednesday. And then we'll watch the heat and humidity returning for the end of next week.
Thanks, Tawana. Community leaders are looking for input from the community on how to improve safety after that deadly shooting last weekend in the Highlands. The original Highlands Neighborhood Association Board is hosting a meeting next Monday. Councilman Ben Reno Weber will talk about the violence that happened on Baxter Avenue early Sunday morning. 2 people were killed from shooting injuries. The meeting is at the Highland Community Ministries Chapel at 6:30. They ask you enter through the doors on Breckenridge. And we've learned the name of the men killed in that triple shooting: 20-year-old Michael Batchelor Jr. and 29-year-old Monte Wade. They were the victims who died. A third person was also shot and is expected to survive. Police have not made any arrests. It's now been about 1 month since the Safer Kentucky Act went into effect. It makes street camping illegal across the Commonwealth. According to LMPD, there have been 4 arrests and 10 citations in the last month. Advocates for those who are homeless began to express concerns for the law before the General Assembly passed it. Now that it is official, those who work with the homeless say there's been a negative impact. They say the solution starts with more shelter space. Here's Olivia taking a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world today.
The Biden administration is unveiling the results of its first ever Medicare drug price negotiation. The White House says Medicare's new power to negotiate drug prices will lead to an estimated $1.5 billion reduction in out-of-pocket costs for seniors when the lower prices take effect in 2026, and an estimated $6 billion in savings for the federal government. Drug makers have tried to quash the program in federal court, but have proved unsuccessful. Just a week after canceling her concerts in Vienna, Austria, due to a terror threat, Taylor Swift is returning to the stage in London. The last stop of her Eras tour was canceled when Vienna police say they prevented an ISIS-inspired plot to attack one of her concerts there. 3 teenagers have been detained in connection with the investigation. Today's concert is the first of 5 shows Swift is scheduled to perform in London. This will be her final European stop before she heads back to North America. And here's something I think we can all get behind today is National Relaxation Day. So who do we have to thank for this? Turns out it wasn't an adult like you would normally expect, but someone much younger. The idea was created by 4th grader Sean Moeller back in 1985. Moeller told an interviewer that people shouldn't do anything of real value for the day. So thank you so much, Sean. You just gave me an excuse to cancel my workout today. Those are some of your top headlines. Shannon will have more local news coming up in your Wake Up Watch list.
Good morning, 6:53. Taking a look at our Wake Up Watch list. And oh, yes, the Kentucky State Fair is back. Opening day is today. Marissa has been there live this morning.
Shannon, there is so much to see at the Kentucky State Fair. You have the miniatures, exhibit, and entries. You have plants. You have the wreaths. You have the wind chimes, the quilts, and I was able to find one of my favorite things. It is a turtle maid. So there's so much to see, and that's just in this room. Make sure you come out. The Kentucky State Fair started today on Thursday and continues all the way till August 25th. Tawana.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Okay, Jeffersonville man facing 5 charges of intimidation is set to go before a judge today. Police say Monday Derek Avery drove to police headquarters armed with an AR-15 and 2 pistols. He was met by tactical officers and arrested. He's set to go before a judge at 10:30 this morning. And you'll see more traffic around U of L today because the students are starting to move in. The university had more than 3,900 students living on campus last year. The first day of classes is coming up on Monday. Good luck to all those students moving in, and they may want to avoid tomorrow morning, Tawana.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. I know a lot of the move-in really starts around 8 a.m. This morning you should be fine. Anyone moving in tomorrow morning around 8 a.m., you could be dealing with rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Right now, watching those clouds streaming into our region, you can see them clearly on our SkyTrack camera in Starlight, Indiana, with that sunlight reflecting off the base of the clouds. Absolutely gorgeous. As we head over the next 12 hours, we'll watch those temperatures going from the 60s, where we are right now, all the way into the mid to upper 80s, maxing out near 90 degrees for a high this afternoon. As we keep rain chances for this afternoon pretty isolated, rain chances do go up later on tonight into tomorrow as we see that system getting closer to our region. Some more rounds of storms for portions of your Friday, Saturday as well. Neither day, though, looking like a washout at all. Much cooler and less humid weather does take over for the end of the weekend.
Your morning commute is looking pretty easy this morning. Doesn't look like we have any crashes or stalled vehicles on our major interstates. Things are starting to slow down a little bit on Bardstown Road near Fern Creek. And then it's a little bit slow getting across the Sherman-Minton Bridge from Indiana, but everything's looking nice. Our Metro traffic cameras are showing nice speeds. Oh, there's a school bus going by on 65 and Arthur Street. Those kids getting ready to go to school. But right now I think would be a perfect time to go to the fair, too.
Yes.
I mean, oh, I just want a corn dog, some fried Oreos. It's National Relaxation Day. What better way to spend it?
Exactly. I know. I'm so sad I learned about National Relaxation Day after I've already been at work for several hours.
You know, that's a good point. Hold on. Should be a holiday. Is our boss watching right?
I know they're watching.
Yes.
We'll have to talk about this later.
You know, this is the 120th year for the fair. Pretty incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, 120 years, 120 counties. Love it.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Well, hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow. Yay. Today's show's up next.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more, all for free with Wave Now. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and the Wave News app. Sponsored by Circle K. Fuel you can trust.